Hello, what's up guys, welcome back to my channel, and for today's video we'll be looking at Skylords Reborn, and I'll be completing the challenge 4.4 of the natural selection season, the 2-player scenario Crusade on expert difficulty, by only using the nature, twilight or even neutral cards of uncommon rarity. So this will be on solo, and also this was my first and only run, so there are a couple of mistakes, and I'll also let you know what you can do to improve this specific run that I'm playing. So I'm quite surprised that I've won this on expert by just crafting out the first deck, running through the game, and eventually win the map. So there are actually quite a few strategies that you can use, but I'll just let you know where I've gone wrong and what you can do to improve. So for this game, this is my deck, and I'm just gonna show you how I run through this map. So in the beginning, it is very simple. You don't have to rush through, but for this, my first mistake was to rush through and get up the power wells here. So you don't really want to do that, because you need more than just 2 Swiftclaw to get rid of this entire Twilight army. So make sure to don't rush and just build more Swiftclaw, and also cast some CC spells like Ensnaring Roots. This should prevent the archers from coming and attacking your Swiftclaws. They do a lot of damage because they are not debuffed by any melee units close or any units close to the Twilight Slayer. So as you can see, with only 2 Swiftclaws, I only managed to get down 1 Twilight Slaver, which isn't an ideal thing. So make sure to get up more Swiftclaws. I would recommend looking at this group. A good number will be 4 to 5 Swiftclaw, even though it is a massive overkill, but I think it is just right. Make sure to use the Swiftclaw also to attack the Twilight Slayers at close proximity, so it doesn't do as much damage. And also, as you can see, I also cast Ensnaring Roots. So Ensnaring Roots will be very good to prevent the Twilight Slayer, the second one, from reaching your Swiftclaws quickly, because it has M counter, so it deals a lot of damage to your Swiftclaws. And this is just what I would recommend as compared to my poor start of this game. But also remember, this is my first time trying out this deck and playing Swiftclaw as my starting unit to finish this Crusade. So once you get rid of the army here, get out your power wells, and also you can also walk over to the wall here and build up the wall to buy some time in defending your base. I would recommend having Stranglehold. It will be a very good asset for your game. And as you can see, I have my Swiftclaw run up at full health to this portal. It was a very close fight, so if you are afraid that your Swiftclaw would die, just cast 1 Ensnaring Roots, and I guarantee that your Swiftclaw will be safe and will not die from all the Twilight units over here. And also, once you get up your power well and destroy the Twilight army guarding the power well, it should be right on time with the spawning of the Twilight units that will be attacking your base. So make sure to not take too long, because you want to get up the wall to defend your base and build 2 Stranglehold. So as you can see over here, my Swiftclaw nearly died, but it was a very close save. So once up, just go over to the middle, heal your Swiftclaw slowly, because we got Shaman. So just build Shaman and your Swiftclaw would be alive and well. The other thing about building a Stranglehold here at the bottom base is because the Twilight Slayers, they have multi-shot similar to Windweaver. So what I would recommend is to have Stranglehold built at the bottom here until the Twilight Slayers are eliminated, so it prevents the Slayers from attacking your Stranglehold that is still building. I recommend 2 Strangleholds that are very good building to keep away ground units, and also 2 Stranglehold because usually at the beginning of the wave we'll see that only 2 Twilight units will be attacking your base, so 2 Strangleholds is strong enough. Make sure to just keep getting up power wells. As you can see, I'm too focused on the bottom base and the top base over here that I forgot that I have some power to get up your power well. So of course, more power wells in the beginning will be better, so that you get more power down the road and down the game itself. It is a very simple start, nothing much. The toughest for this would be to destroy this base and also to defend your bottom base in right in the middle of the game. It will get a lot easier once you have tier 3, because having Thornbarks, and when you reach tier 3 at that time, you will have accumulated a lot of power, so you can form a strong root network with Thornbarks and living towers to defend your top base over here. There's a couple of hiccups that I would show you that I didn't do well for this game, and I'm sure this run will be a lot easier for you than it is for me. Yes, after you get your tier 2, build up your walls at the top, build up the walls, and then have some living tower to defend your base, because you do not have Mouth of the Keeper to prevent like some of the range units from attacking. So at every part of the wall, make sure to have living tower, and also do take note of the root network range linked fire to make sure not to build too far away from the each living tower, because you just want them to be linked up to each other. But I estimated the range wrong. It was a very close one, but the living tower should be closer to get more of the root network properties. And yeah, what I recommend here is just to build the living towers closer, so that all of them sort of like gain root proximity, and your living towers will be stronger as a root network team. And as you can see, my base over here is going down because I was busy building defenses at the top. But do not worry, we will have some strangleholds and living towers to protect our monument. The reason why I want living towers is, of course, we got some flying units now, so stranglehold alone will not work against flying units. So I'll just show you how it is now. This is basically the main build. Just a few living towers. The most heavily defended one will be right here, that can kind of like attack these 3 walls. So the main concept is to have these 3 walls at 1 root network and 1 living tower right at this last wall spot would be good enough. And the next step that we want to take a look at is the base here. So before I move into that, I have powers, all the powers at the top base, powers here, and my first monument base. So that's where the powers are. Let's see how I will take down this. And as you can see, 2 living towers is good enough, but I would recommend you maybe to have either 1 more stranglehold or 1 more living tower, so that your defense will be more solid. Also, always take note of your bottom base here, because after a while Twilight Dancers will be out and they have very long range, so you need to have at least a ground unit here to kill the Twilight Dancers once they spawn. So right up here at the top monument, how you're going to destroy this base is to build a whole line of living towers. I would recommend 6 to 7 living towers would be sufficient to take down the base. This must be coupled with like CC spells, Ensnaring Roots, or Creeping Paralysis, because it will take quite a bit of effort or time to take down the Twilight Abomination and even the Twilight Devastator. Not forgetting that there are also Twilight Dancers which can take down structural buildings very quickly. So I recommend building a couple of Burrowers to quickly take down the Twilight Infestation base, so that Twilight units will not be spawning anymore. Yeah, so this is why I would recommend you to get up more living towers or even stranglehold, because the Twilight units that be attacking can get quite strong if they come against you at the same time. Living towers here are pretty good. They are holding up very well in the beginning, but as you can see, they are also all not linked up, so probably around here you have 1 more living tower, because it's just 2 living towers is not enough to connect the entire root network. As you can see, I got 6 living towers, but I recommend about 7 is a whole lot better, will make your run a lot easier. So you can see the Twilight Dancers would be coming now, and this would prove to be a difficult and annoying unit to face, because it will take down quite a bit of my living towers, and I'll have to also focus on using power to build Burrowers to take down this base here. And one thing I've learned is also to make sure that your army here is ready, because later on I'll be summoning a lot of units in the middle to try to take down the Twilight Infestation base. But the problem with summoning units that is not within your power wells or monument is that they are summoned dazed and they have 50% less health, which means that the Burrowers or whichever units like the deep one are killed much more easily, and it's just a waste of power. So yes, let us just speed up, and you see that this is one of the important parts where I'll be showing you how to take down this camp. And yeah, as you can see, the issue also with the Burrowers are that when they walk past the melee units, they slow down and they are able to be hit by the Twilight Abomination. So what I will do differently here is to use Creeping Paralysis first. This will paralyze the units, and my Burrowers or my land units, my ground units, will not be attacked by any of the melee units that have been initially rooted by Ensnaring Roots. Instead, they will not be attacked by any paralyzed units at all. So make sure to use Creeping Paralysis first, followed by Ensnaring Roots, and get down all these spawning camps. So yep, the 2 Twilight Dancers are really annoying because they have long range and they have siege bonuses, I assume, because they deal a lot of damage to structural buildings. So what I really have to do is to get up a lot of my units to take down the spawning camps and just cast some CC spells. I'm already on the route of losing a lot of power, so I have a lot of void power to back up the spawning of my units. So yes, as you can see here, the Twilight Dancers is the only one alive, and I only realize it when my monument is down, so I have to get up Swiftclaws and counter to get rid of the Twilight Dancer. And over here, just slowly get rid of the spawning camps, and once the spawning buildings are destroyed, it is quite easy to take down all these like smaller units, so not to worry about this. So yep, Swiftclaw, and the good thing about Swiftclaw is that there's a lot of M-size units, so our Swiftclaw deals a lot of damage, and I was trying to get up the wall with my Swiftclaw to buy more time, but timing was wrong. Couldn't tell when the Twilight units was coming. I've gotten back my tier 2, so with deep 1, with stronger units, I'm able to get back and sort of like defend my first monument, so not to worry about that. As you can see, I also got quite a sizable army to get my tier 3, so I know that I won't lose this game yet. So Living Tower is up to get rid of any flying units, and yep, just getting up the walls to buy some time. This is essential. Make sure that if you find a good opportunity to get up the wall again, so that you can get additional like 1 minute or so. And this is unfortunate because I've drawn some units from the base here because my deep 1 decided to melee attack the wall, and the Twilight Dancers just have a very long range. But the good thing about this is that I'm able to get rid of some Twilight units, even though they will spawn later, but not all of them would be returning to defend the base here yet. The good thing about deep 1s are that it's able to counter against large creatures, but these Twilight Crawlers have L counter, so it's much more difficult for my deep 1 to stay alive. And also always take note that throughout the game, your Living Towers are alive and well. As you can see, some of them are already destroyed, so with tier 3 I have Thornbarks to defend my base much more easier, and it's a stronger defense. And also the Living Tower here is the most vulnerable, right at where the Twilight Slayers always spawn, so they'll probably be destroyed sometime in the middle of the game, so make sure to just either build more Living Towers or make sure that your Living Tower is always being repaired. So yes, for the difficult part about this game is to really defend your first monument base and also your second monument base where constant Twilight units are spawning. You have to really divide your power well to build strong defenses, at the same time also gain a sizable power, sizable army to push through and get your tier 3 and tier 4, which when you reach tier 4, this game is probably a victory for you unless you get your tier 4 very late into the game. As you can see, objective D is basically your timer. It's a time sensitive game, so if you get your tier 4 too late, you will also lose the game because you don't have enough time to get rid of all of these enemy camps in order to win this game. Now of course, when you got tier 3, also summon Mutating Maniac. They are much stronger than deep 1, and they also cost the same amount of power. So this might happen a couple of times. The Twilight Slayers are really annoying, but Thunderstorm is a very good spell to get rid of all the archers. They have low health and very easy to kill off with Thunderstorm. So this is my army. I have about 8 Thornbarks, and this is really quite good, and cast some CC spells. But the bad part about this, what I would recommend for you to do is to have the Thornbarks run a little bit much higher here, because the issue is that if you were to stop here and root your Thornbarks earlier, then the walls would be targeted and not all of your damage from Thornbarks would be attacking the Twilight unit. So this is not what you want, and you really want to have the Thornbarks to move forward into the tier 4 camp, and this will allow you or allow your Thornbarks to deal more damage to specific Twilight units instead of just the wall segments. Yeah, make sure to multitask and keep all of your bases alive. The toughest to defend, I would say, is the parts with the Twilight Slayers, the wall, because honestly the Twilight Slayers in a sizable army are really strong, so always take note of this. But the easiest part is once you got tier 3, you can just use Thunderstorm to just get rid of this entire archer. And once your tier 4 is up, you can send your Thornbarks back to the top base to defend. That is the first priority, to protect Rogan. And then you can focus fire on the bottom part of this base, where when you summon your tier 4 Evil Eye, just move along the bottom path and attack this camp, and you will know that there will not be any Twilight units that will be attacking your first monument base. Have some Evil Eye and some Willzapper so that the Willzapper can paralyze, and Evil Eye deals a lot of damage to a lot of small units because of his attack and exploding effect once it kills any enemy unit. So from this point, it's very simple. I'll just make it a little bit quicker. Your Evil Eye will be a very strong asset, and what you can do to prevent your Evil Eye from dying is to cast Green Peace, preventing enemy units from attacking your units, and also to have some like melee units like Mutating Maniac to tank some damage up at the front. So I'll recommend building at least 3 Evil Eye to get rid of the other side of the camp. And also we got some buildings here which I've used Burrower to destroy. And what you also have that you can do on this map or this deck is you have Swarm, which you can quickly just cast a spell and use it as a way to tank damage for your Evil Eye. So as you can see at the top here, I got tier 4 Hatecaster and Howling Shrine, and this will be a very good defense for the top, and you don't really have to worry about your top base anymore. And now when you cast these spells, make sure to get rid of the units first, because as mentioned, Evil Eye deals more damage against units because units will explode and they'll do area damage. So this is what I would recommend. So just continue clearing with your Evil Eye. The same, you cast CC spells and attack the units to cast some splash damage from your Evil Eye attack. And then Swarm to get rid of some buildings. So yeah, this is it. Very simple to take down all the base once you got tier 4 and Evil Eye. And what is left is just the final objective to defend your base at the top right here. But it is very simple because you have Willzapper to paralyze units, Howling Shrines, Thornbarks, and Hatecaster. A lot of Paralysis going on. So even though you only have maybe a few buildings at most, you know that you'll win the game. Yeah, you have quite a strong set of towers to defend against the top Twilight unit. So this is it, and this is how I complete this challenge 4.4 on expert difficulty solo by using only a nature or Twilight deck of uncommon card rarity. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you like this video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys again real soon from next video.